On homework worksheet 5-.5, 1 through 8, the directions say find two angles, one positive and one negative, that are coterminal with the given angle. When they tell you they want you to find a coterminal angle, if it's in degrees, you're going to add and subtract 360. If it's in radians, you're going to add and subtract 2 pi. So I'm going to go ahead and do number 1 with y'all. If you want to find a coterminal angle for 10 degrees, I'm going to add 360. So if I add 360 to 10, I get 370 degrees. And then I'm going to also turn around and subtract 360. So 10 take away 360 is going to give me my negative answer of 350 degrees. You do the same thing if you're on number 2, number 3, and number 4. Even though this has a negative, it doesn't matter. You still add 360, you'll get a positive answer. Subtract 360, you'll get a negative answer. On the bottom section, these are all in pi's. So I'm going to go to number 5. We're going to add 2 pi. So 1 pi plus 2 pi is going to give me 3 pi. And then we're going to subtract 2 pi. 1 pi, take away 2 pi is going to give me a negative pi. Again, I did 1 positive and 1 negative. So that's how you're going to do that section there. On 9 and 10, the directions say, find the degree measure of an angle formed by each rotation described. What we have to remember is that a complete rotation is equal to 360 degrees, or 2 pi. Because this problem tells me to do my answers in degrees, I'm just going to worry about 360. So on number 9, they want me to find the degree measure if I go around 1 2/3 of a revolution. So 1 revolution would mean I'd have 360, plus I'm also going to go to 2/3 of a revolution. So 2/3 of 360. So we talked about it in class of how to multiply a fraction times a whole number quickly in our head. We're going to divide by the denominator and then multiply by the numerator. So I'm going to ignore the 0 for a second. 36 divided by 3 is 12. And then I'm going to multiply it by the top. 12 times 2 is 24. And then I'm going to add my 0 back. So 2/3 of 360 is 240. And I'm going to go add these two together. And we get 600 degrees. Because they're using the phrase counterclockwise, my answer needs to be positive. If they were to use the word clockwise, then my answer would need to be a negative. On 11 through 22, they ask me to state whether each expression is a positive or a negative. So I'll do 11, 15, 19, one from each row. On 11, first thing you want to do is try to remember where is 165 degrees. Well, at the top is 90, the left side is 180, so 165 is going to be somewhere in quadrant 2. We're talking about sine, and sine means y value. What are your y values in quadrant 2? Well, in quadrant 2, all my y values are positive. Number 15 is asking me about sine of 5 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6 would be right above pi, be right here. And again, they're asking us about sine. So again, they want to know what are the sine values in quadrant 2. They're still positive. Let's go do number 21, just to do something different. So 19, 20, 21, and 22. Notice none of these have a degree symbol, but none of them have a pi symbol either. If the degree symbol is missing, we're going to assume that these are all written in radians. So on 21, they want to know what is the value of, let's do 22 because this is cosine. On 22, they want to know what is the value of cosine of 4 radians. So I have to think about my circle. On my circle, this is pi, but pi is really 3.14. Up top is pi divided by 2. So 3.14 divided by 2 is 1.57. That means each of these little quadrants is 1.57 radians. So 1.57, 3.14. If I add these two together, I get 4.71 down here at the bottom. And all the way around 2 pi's, so 2 of these would be 6.28. And all they care about is 4. Well, 4, I would hope you would agree, is between 3.14 and 4.71. It's going to be somewhere in here. So they want to know in quadrant 3, what value is cosine? Cosine is x. So what kind of numbers are x's down here? They're negative. On 23 through 26, they're asking me, does cosine of theta increase or decrease as the theta goes from 1 degree to another? So I'll do 23. When we're talking about cosine, I should be thinking about x's. Because I'm thinking about x's, I'm thinking about traveling left and right. When you're thinking about positive x's, they travel to the right, and negative x's travel to the left. So if we travel right, we're going to say we're increasing, and if we travel left, we're going to say we're decreasing. So as I go around my circle from 0 degrees to 90 degrees, which way am I traveling? Am I traveling right or left? I'm traveling to the left, so it's going to decrease from 0 to 90 degrees. All right. On the back, 27 through 30, we're playing the quadrant game, and I'm trying to figure out which quadrant each of these situations describe. So let's review our quadrants one more time. We've got quadrant 1, and everything in quadrant 1 is positive, positive. Quadrant 2, and everything in quadrant 2 is negative, positive. Quadrant 3, we have negative, negative. Quadrant 4, we have positive, negative. All right, so I'm going to look at number 29. On 29, they want to know which quadrant is being described. It says the sine value of theta is less than 0. Well, sine means y. And if I'm less than 0, I must be a negative number. And the cosine value of theta is greater than 0. Well, cosine means x. And if I'm greater than 0, I'm positive. So this is asking me which quadrant are my x's positive but my y is negative. Well, x is positive in quadrant 1 and in quadrant 4. Y is negative in quadrant 4. That means my answer is quadrant 4. On 31 through 39, they want me to compare each of these and decide is it less than, greater than, or equal to. So let's look at 31 first. On 31, I draw a little unit circle again. They ask me, is sine of 40 degrees greater than, less than, or equal to sine of 30? So first thing I'm going to remember is that sine means my y values. 40 degrees we'll say is right here, and 30 has to be right below it. So are the y's at 40 degrees bigger or smaller or equal to the y's at 30? Well, since we're talking about y's, I can see that 40 degrees is way above 30 degrees. So it's greater than. Let's go do one more from this section because it can be kind of tricky. Let's go do number 37. It's almost the same thing, but now we're talking cosines. So I'm going to draw my picture again. But because it says cosine, now I'm thinking x. So now I'm thinking left and right. So again, we've got 40 degrees right there and 30 degrees right here. Now we're looking this way. Is the 40 degrees bigger or smaller than 30 degrees? Well, we're going from 40 to 30. That 40 is actually smaller than the 30. See, it's closer to the 0. So it's less than. Okay, we're going to do one more. Let's go do number 33. On 33, they want me to compare sine, so y, of 172 to sine of 8. So Okay, so I know sine of 172 is over here in quadrant 2, and sine of 8 is in quadrant 1. I know that sine of 8 is 8 degrees from this axis, and if this axis is 180 and this line is 172, then it's also 8 away. So that means that these two y values are in exactly the same spot. So these two are equal. So I did one that was greater than, one that was less than, and one that was equal to. Okay, the next one I'm going to look at is 45 through 56. For this section, all you had to do was use your unit circle to find out what theta was. So let's look at 45. On 45, they want to know where on the unit circle does theta equal a positive 1/2 for cosine. Well, cosine is going to be positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. So after I know what quadrants I'm going to look in, now I'm trying to decide where is it positive 1/2. So you go to your circle if you need to. Here's our circle. And you're looking for where x is positive 1/2. X is positive 1/2 at 60 degrees. Okay, but I also know I'm also looking over here in quadrant 4. So if I were to flip this over, it's a reflection of where the 300 degrees is. And that's it. So let's go do a sine problem. So let's go do 51. Let's go to 51. On 51, they want to know where on your circle the sine, which is y, where does the y equal positive 1? So I go to my circle. Y equals positive 1 right up at the top, which is 90 degrees. So this time my problem only has one answer because it only equals 1 time. And that's it. Remember, I'm going to go over homework questions on Monday. It's not due till Tuesday, so you can ask me questions Monday, and then you can finish it up Monday night, and you'll turn it in Tuesday for a grade. Good luck!